going to call to order the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees regular meeting for Thursday, January 24th. I'm the president, and before we get rolling on our agenda, I'd like to welcome our newest board member, Catherine Dooley. Before I throw it over to Kat to say a few things about herself, what I can say is a little bit of self-disclosure. I do know her, and she's very involved in our community. She's done a lot of great things with Rotary, Feed the Need, and she works for a local company as well. So I'll let her tell us more.
Thank you. Oh, that was loud. I've actually lived and worked in Novi, worked with Novi for longer than I've lived here. I've been a resident since 2009, and I've used to work for the Southwestern Oakland Cable Commission. So I worked with a lot of people in Novi for the majority of my career. And I actually used to work in the booth that's taping us right now. But I'm really happy to be here, and I'm honored to be a part of the board, and I'm really excited to get started for the community. So thank you for the warm welcome. I appreciate it.
We're excited to have you. You're welcome. Okay, there's more welcomes to give. Before I get to those, I'll talk a little bit about committee assignments, just following the agenda to a T here. So item B, committee assignments based on board member appointments, and these are until May 2019. We have Tori Yu, who will be doing Building and Grounds and HR Committee. Yes? Yep. And then Kat, throwing it back to her again, Strategic Planning and Policy.
Yes.
Yes. And now more welcoming, yay! So we have two new student representatives, and we're so excited to welcome students in to do this work with us. We need you. Okay, so we have Mahek Nasser joining us, and I'm going to let you say a few words about yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Mahek Nasser. I'm currently a sophomore here at Novi High School. In my free time, I like to play field hockey. I'm in choir and a couple of academic clubs as well.
Thank you so much. And then, definitely not least, but next, we have Tarun Tangarella.
Hi, my name is Tarun Tangarella. I'm a freshman at Wild Lake Western. I played soccer for Western. I was on the JV team. I'm in Model UN, and I do many other extracurriculars. I wanted to give back to my community because I've been living here in Novi my whole life. I just wanted to give back to Novi.
And we're grateful for that. Thank you both, and welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so now we're going to toss it over to our Secretary, Bill Lawler, with roll call.
Trustee Melissa Augusta.
Present.
Trustee Kat Dooley.
Present.
Trustee William Lawler is here. Trustee Craig Messernecht.
Here.
Trustee Tara Mishner.
Present.
Trustee Jeff Wood is excused. And Trustee Tori Yu.
Present.
And new student representatives Mahek Nasser
Present.
and Tarun Tangarella.
Present.
Thank you so much. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 4, approval and overview of the agenda. That can be found pages 1 through 4. Do I hear an approval?
Motion to approve? I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. 5 is our consent agenda, and there's A, which is the approval of regular meeting minutes from December 19th, 2018.
I did have one
Yeah,
change,
yeah, please.
Page 14,
Yeah.
under 17, executive session. It says the session will take place at the February board meeting. It actually should have said January.
Thank
So that's the only
you.
note that I noticed.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for pointing that out to us.
Oh, and I will be abstaining since I wasn't here during
Okay.
that meeting. Thank you.
It's totally fine. And then B was approval of claims and warrants, 574, and that's pages 15 through 17. So, anything else that anyone wants to say? Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's approved. Excuse me. We're going to go to item 6, which is correspondence, and that is on, that can be found on page 17.
So this is an email that I received from Beth Summers. She is a patron of the library, and this was in regard to a storytime program that she attended, which was hosted by Miss Emily. She is our early literacy specialist librarian, and this was just a thank you and a kudos for the type of program that Miss Emily provided. I had the opportunity to write a letter back to Beth and thank her for her kind words, and I have shared this with Emily as well as Emily's supervisor. It's great when we can see that children and parents are enjoying our storytime programming.
That's awesome.
It was very sweet.
Thank you. Okay. Item 7 would be presentation special guest.
We
but
do not have any this evening.
Okay, thank you. So now this brings us to item 8, public comment. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 5-minute time limit. This is not a question-answer session, therefore library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. Yes, please come to the podium. And we're going to set.
Thank you very
the
much.
timer.
My name is Alan Bialik. I've been a citizen of Novi for 30 years, and I'm a Vietnam veteran. Hopefully you'll remember me. I was here about 6 months ago, and I was going to pitch you on my personal growth workshop that I was going to have. Now, just a reminder, I do this all by myself, out of my own pocket. I'm not asking for anything. I don't get anything. I have no skin in the game. I'm not a 501(c)(3) charity. I'm not embedded with any company or any organization. I do this for my dad, who was a disabled veteran, and as a Vietnam veteran, some of my friends that never came back. I do this because this is what we should do to give back to my community. 6 months ago, after my initial presentation, you created the intro program process was initiated. And after a number of meetings, I was given an opportunity, and I want to thank you for that, okay? I want to thank you for that. So as a seasoned businessman, on January 10th, I had my first one, which was called the communications class. And I thought as a seasoned businessman, I hit a home run. The diversity was there from all different cultures, age groups, from teenagers to millennials, and the enthusiasm was there. When was the next class, they asked the board members. And we want more, said to the staff. And of course, what they learned. Now, there's a number of issues here, but I want to just, because of the time restraints, I just want to talk about 2 issues. So I had my fingers crossed. Can Mr. Al do his personal growth workshops at the library and give back? So I had a meeting with the library staff, and I was told, no, we're not moving forward. And the number one criteria, the only criteria, was that I did not hit 100% capacity of the room. I was given a room that housed 20. So the goal was 20 plus another 25% on standby. So I did not hit that. So the next logical question is, did anybody in the introductory program hit 100%? The answer I received was no. So based on my research that I presented, is there a current program at the library that hits 100% plus 125%? The answer was no. The Super Bowl doesn't get 100%. Look at the attendance here. Should we close the board meeting because of attendance? So why the unreal expectations? So the next logical question as a businessman, was there a cost-benefit analysis done? For example, if Mr. Al hit 55% attendance, he was the highest, let's move him forward. Did we hit certain categories that we need? Providence Hospital, health, children, culture, groups. How about my category? Living history, intergenerational connection, Polish people that won an Emmy Award with the city. I got no response. I worked my whole life, but especially the last 6 years, tirelessly to build my credibility and reputation. I've worked alongside the most renowned companies and individuals to the tune of winning an Emmy Award with the city of Novi at age 70. In my 73 years, I have never been treated so unprofessionally, with such bias, with no proper explanation, and then asked to jump through so many hoops and be given such unreal expectations. This is not a way to treat a community member that wants to give back for nothing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to item 9.
We have another,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Mike DeShano, 1191 South Lake Drive, and I want to thank the board, the library staff for the information that was provided in today's package, pages 54 and 55 specifically, that response to comments that were made in December. And the summary of what was shown was that there's about 3,600 books that are international language on file here at our library, which is pretty impressive. 1,331 of those are in the Youth International section. I would like to, I know that there was no number thrown out there, but I would think that we should be able to add 1,500 books through our collection through whatever means is appropriate. I don't know how much money that would be, but I'm sure that could be cost estimated. So basically, I just want to thank the library board for taking these new goals seriously. Looking at persons of Japanese descent in Novi, if you exclude the states of Hawaii, California, Oregon, and Washington State, basically the West Coast, Novi has the largest, as best I can determine, the largest percentage population of Japanese of any city in the remaining 46 states. And the only two cities that I found that have a larger Japanese population than Novi are Washington, D.C. and New York City. So I would like to see an emphasis on the Japanese youth books. And basically, we have a sister city, Owani, going back to 1991. This basically set up a means of exchanging information. We may be able to have some kind of book swap with them. When I visited Japan several years ago, English seemed to be their second favorite language. So there's a possibility we can exchange some of our books for some of theirs. So I just want to thank you for your follow-up.
Thank you. Okay. I don't see anyone else coming forward, so I will move on to item 9, which is our student representatives report, which is on pages 18 through 22.
This is the December 2018 Student Representative Report. For programs, the Battle of the Books Coaches Kickoff meeting took place on December 11th. At this meeting, titles for this year's battle were announced, a set of books for each team was distributed, and a discussion of coaches' responsibilities was conducted. Coaches also saw a video of a previous year's battle. Extra books and the Battle of the Books kits were available to check out at the meeting. The attendance was 50 people.
The NASA at My Library STEM Kit Activities program took place on December 12th. Attendees got to join for some fun hands-on STEM activities while the library tested out the brand new NASA at My Library kits available through the Library of Michigan. Attendance was 10.
The Gingerbread Engineering Challenge took place on December 18th. Attendees got to make and decorate their own gingerbread house. The program was divided into 2 programs for different age groups, ages 4 through 8 and ages 9+. The attendance for ages 4 through 8 was 77, and the attendance for ages 9+ was 66.
The Tween Pizza and Pages Book Club took place on December 19th. Attendees read the book Under the Skin by Margaret Peterson Haddix. The purpose of this book club is to encourage tweens to read and also allow tweens to practice for the Battle of the Books program that the library holds annually. The attendance was 12.
For our Teen Space update, there were 405 attendees in the Teen Space for the month of December. Teen Space is closed from December 24th to January 4th as the Novi High School is closed for break. There was also a craft day on December 20th.
Total breakdown for Teen Space numbers for 2018 to 2019 school year for September 2018, 699, October 2018, 1,156, November 2018, 658, December 2018, 405. That was a total for the 2018-2019 school year, which was 2,918.
For our Teen Advisory Board update, the fourth Teen Advisory Board meeting of the year took place on December 21st. Members shared their plans for winter break. Attendees then suggested ideas for a future community service project. Then, members decorated sugar cookies to celebrate the winter time and made decorations to be displayed in Teen Stop during the winter. The attendance was 18.
Upcoming programs is a Teen Advisory Board meeting, which is on February 15th, and Tween Pizza and Pages Book Club on the 27th.
As seen in the first picture, this was some of the participants at the NASA My Library STEM Kit program, dropping marbles into flour to create craters and then measuring their impact.
In the second picture, we can see a participant at the NASA My Library STEM Kit program making a UV ray pipes cleaner person to use outside to see how high the UV rays are.
On the third page, we can see some of the participants from the Gingerbread Engineering Challenge with their houses.
On the page 21, the last page, we can see members of the Tween Pizza and Pages Book Club show this month's book Under Their Skin by Margaret Peterson Haddix.
On page 22, you have a follow-up, which is the student rep expectations. Lindsay Gochai, who is our teen librarian, and myself, Mahek and Tarun, we all met just a few weeks ago before their first meeting to talk about the expectations and what we look for in our student reps. And as you can see, there's quite a lot that we expect from our student reps to be on the library board and to be part of this committee for the next 2 years, and they were very willing to take on the challenge and be part of it and accepted our opportunity for them to join us. So I just wanted to have you see just a snapshot of the things that they work on and what they tend to do throughout their 2 years with us.
I love that you laid everything out
Yep.
specifically. You guys are going to be hard workers. I know you already are.
Yes, they are.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
I have several questions and comments. Number one, it's great to see several people this early in their high school careers joining us. We've had juniors and seniors in the past frequently, and they've been outstanding. But I'm anxious to see what someone in the freshman and sophomore year can do to generate activities. Generally, the activities we've seen here primarily have to do with high school ages. I see that at least one of them included kids 4 to 8 and 9 above. How were those kids recruited? Through schools or flyers or?
All of
Yeah.
that and plus.
Okay.
Social media.
We do a blast, social media, yes. Pretty much all the avenues that we typically take.
Okay.
Yep.
And the last thing is, Tarun, if you could do some recruiting around Walled Lake Western to generate interest in the Novi Library, we'd be forever indebted to you. Do any of your friends patronize our library?
Yeah, I think some of my friends will be interested in programs such as these.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any thoughts or questions for our new student representatives? Well, welcome again. We're very grateful to have you. Thank you. Good job. Okay, so we're going to move on to item 10, which is the president's report with me. So A is our goals on page 23. Let me just highlight some of those, right?
There's so many, this is our catch-up, so lots of red, as you can see,
Yeah.
pages 24 on. So I'm willing to take any questions you might have, or maybe you might want to, read through them a little more before asking. I'm up to whatever your desire is this evening, but there is a lot this time for you to review.
Yeah.
As you can see, we are definitely meeting things as much as possible and moving along.
This is the 50% mark, right?
It is.
I mean, right.
Yes.
So there's a lot. So, and absolutely. So kudos to the team and
Yep.
everybody. Amazing.
And just for Tori and for Kat, this is something that I report on quarterly to the board so that you can see the goals that get set usually in the spring that get us ready for our next fiscal year. Then these are ideas and things that the staff has brought up that they want to work on based under the larger goals that are on page 23, I believe it is.
Right.
So as you can see, all the little objectives that are being met under those goals.
Okay. We are going to move on to item 11, which is with Melissa Augusta doing the treasurer's report.
All right, I do have a printout if anyone wants to follow along. So starting on page 39 to 42, we're looking at the last blue column, which is amended. So budget for Fund 268 for fiscal year 2018-2019 has an approved amended budget for Fund, I already said that, calls for revenue, of $3,033,030 and expenditures of $3,140,250, consuming $107,220 of the fund balance. Budget for Fund 269 for fiscal year 2018-19 calls for revenue of $33,000 and expenditures of $145,700, consuming $112,700. We did approve an amended budget, but the city has not updated that as of December 31st, so that should reflect in our next meeting. Any questions about the budget so far? Okay, perfect. The revenue and expenditure report for Fund 268, which starts on page 46. What we're going to do is if you go forward to page 46 has all the specifics of the spending, but 49 has the summary. So we're looking at the year-to-date balance that's December 31st, 2018. Revenue year-to-date ending December 31st, 2018 was $2,971,762. That was an increase of $23,470. Our expenditures ending December 31st, 2018 was $1,332,800. That was an increase of $213,630. So we have completed 50% of our fiscal year, and we've used only 42% of our budget. So we're definitely on the right track. Revenue and expenditure report for Fund 269 on page 50. Revenue year-to-date ending December 31st was $36,631.24, and our expenditures ending December 31st, 2018 were $59,475.24. I just wanted to point out that our expenditures increased largely due to the lending library. We put down a payment of $32,750. When I saw that, I was like, oh! It's usually like $2,000.
Right.
So I'm like, what did we do? So that's what we did. Any questions regarding that? Okay. Balance sheet report, which as of December 31st, which is on page 51 and 52. The ending fund balance for Fund 268 is $3,532,153.40, and our ending fund balance for Fund 269 is $1,683,492.28. And since we have new members on our board, and it's been a while, I know when I first started and they were talking about fund balance 268 and 269, I had no idea what that meant. So I just wanted to give a brief explanation. So Fund 268 is basically our general fund. So we receive revenue from tax revenue, penal fines, which we refer to as speed to read. So thank you, speeders. Any gifts, donations, assessments, cafe, meeting rooms, and other miscellaneous means. And then we use these funds to pay for operating costs, utilities, maintenance, supplies, materials, personnel, new books, furniture, computers, and different services and programming that we offer at the library. Now, our Fund 269 is a special fund that was started with a very generous donation from the Walker family when the new building was being considered for special programs and specific upgrades to the library. So, for example, we are purchasing the automated lending library for the west side of Novi that can be used to check out books, and it's going to be installed in the new building at Lakeshore. We're also using Fund 269 to upgrade our lighting system throughout the library, inside and out, that will save the general fund for electricity costs. And these purchases are made possible without having to use the funds from our general fund, which is 268. Now, we also receive very generous donations yearly from the Friends. That's the Friends of the Library. And the Friends raise money for our special wish list that the staff and the director wish to have that enhances our patrons' experience that's above the library's normal budget. Such items that were given to the library team in the past were business area renovations, which were like displays and furniture, the virtual reality equipment, which is a very big hit for all ages, and Xbox games for Teen Space, summer reading program events, our community reads and our Fox Run author events, the Listen at the Library concert series, Raising a Reader, 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, are just to name a few. And so in July of 2018, the Friends donated $25,700 in items. So they're very generous. And these are very specific, fun things that we wouldn't be able to have without the Friends. So any questions about that? All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. 12 is our director's report.
Okay, so we are going to start on, I just realized there's no page there. I'm like, what happened?
Mine ended on 52, so that helps you.
Okay. Yes, I missed it, so sorry. So on page 53, I'm looking at the agenda.
Yes.
Right at the top, we have our employee anniversaries. These are years of service given to the library. And we'll be celebrating in February, April Stevenson. She's our head of information services, 8 years to the library. Tia Marie Sanders, she is our building monitor, and she will be with us 5 years. Eva Sobolchek, she is now one of our support services supervisors who's actually working on the Lending Library project with us. And she will have been with us 3 years in February. And then Maria Nucilli, she is a new, she's new. So I don't know why that says that. So that's interesting. And a sub, so, yeah. But I don't think the years are correct, so I'll have to double check on that one. Apologize for that. Below that, I wanted to give you a heads up to March 13th. We've talked a little bit about it through email. Just a reminder, and I did confirm it is 5 to 8:30 is the time frame on March 13th. We are going to have a trustees workshop, and we're going to share it with the other 5 libraries that we do our Neighborhood Library Association with. So board trustees from Northville, Wixom, Salem South Lyon, Lyon Township, and Walled Lake will join all of you on that evening. We have Claire Membiella, who is from the Library of Michigan, coming down, and she is, as you can see, the agenda is noted as to when we'll start with a dinner first for all of you so that you can talk and network a little bit. But then we'll move into, by about 5:45, into a presentation and the agenda of the workshop. And you can see 7 items that we hope to touch on and to give you some experience with, or refresh or allow you to ask questions. So I hope that you will find this interesting. This is something with CUSAC that, we want to keep you in the loop and keep you educated and aware of what's going on with Michigan libraries. But what I was really excited about is that my other director colleagues wanted to get their directors involved too, or their board of directors. And this way you get a chance to talk a little bit and share, because we do all come from different libraries. Northville is a district library, so they're run a little differently. And then you have different class sizes. All of us are different class sizes too, so they'll be able to talk about that. But just a great opportunity for you just to network with some other library board members as well. So hopefully you will enjoy that evening that's being set up for you. Any questions?
I just
Julie,
had
were
a
there-
comment really quick. Then I'll
That's all right.
call
I'll go
attention
next.
to what you're saying. Just a quick comment. I went to my first trustee workshop when I first became a board member, and it was excellent. And the little side note that I'm going to make is my high school librarian was there. So that was like a full circle moment that I think is kind of nice to share. Please, Bill.
Will there be any other directors there that you know of?
All the directors from the libraries will
Excellent.
be there along with their board members, yes.
Excellent.
So there will be the 6 of us and then the 6 different boards.
Thank you for doing
Yep,
this.
absolutely. I'm very excited. I just thought this was a great way for us to be collaborating together. We already do on programming, and how about you get a chance to do it from the board level?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, following on page 54 is the response to Mr. Ducheneau's request that he made at the last meeting in December. Any questions on that information? I hope I gave you enough good numbers and things just to give a good overview of where we are. I do appreciate Mr. Ducheneau's comments because I do agree with him. We want to continue to grow our international collection, and that has been for the last few years. One of the goals that we've been doing internally, even with it being written by the board, is to continue to build the depth and breadth of our collections, and international language is one of those focuses. So I do appreciate those comments.
I thought this was a very strong response, and I know that we'll consider the new input that we heard today as well.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. Then on page 55, there's just a little bit of some meetings and things that I've been involved in over the last month. And the last paragraph is talking about the budget season, because that's really where a lot of my time in December went, with the holidays also involved there. But want to thank my amazing library managers, my department heads. As you can see, I noted a few people that worked real closely with me in order to get you to that January 19th meeting that we just had last Saturday. So a huge thank you to April Stevenson, who is my department head for information services, Barb Rakowski, who's department head for IT, Marianne Zermulin, she's the department head for support services. Barbara Cook, sitting to my left, who is our bookkeeper. She did a lot of number crunching. And let me tell you, one of the things Barbara did for me that we've not been able to do in the past, she pulled a 5-year look for me of how numbers were, and it was fabulous to use. And the department heads also got that information to see how their numbers were over the last 5 years too. So huge thank you to her, with her just coming on, and I truly appreciated that. Marcia Dominic, as you know, is my administrative assistant. Christina Salvatore is our communications coordinator. Keith Perfect is a facilities assistant too with the building. Betty Lang is our collections specialist. And David Silberman is our electronic services librarian. So all of those people specifically worked with me in order to get some budget numbers put in place for what you saw last week. And then I'm going to skip a few pages. We'll talk in the matters for board action about a couple things that I've brought to your attention. So we'll go on to I'd like to point out page 68 and 69, because this is a brochure that is currently all over the place, because we are very excited about this new one-year program that we are piloting in Novi. And this is with our NLA, our neighborhood libraries, that we're doing this program. It's called the Let's Talk About series. And as you can see on page 69, each month there is a library that's hosting and then taking on a theme. For example, in January on the 27th, which is coming up very soon, these are all held on Saturdays, Walled Lake will host poverty and homelessness. And it's taking that theme and topic and working with young children, ages 4 to 11, to have a dialogue with our young children and their parents, and through picture books and other resources, as well as community members from those libraries, so that we can have a natural dialogue and broach some of these topics. As you see, coming up for Novi, we have race, and our own Tara Mitchner, the president, is going to be helping out with that particular program. And then Novi will be back next December for adoption. So those were the two topics that Novi was interested in hosting. But we're really excited. This was a pilot program that we saw out of East Lansing, and it was a project with Michigan State University. Both the public library and MSU put this on in East Lansing, and it's gone over very well. They're already into their second year of doing this. But when I was at the Michigan Library Association conference a year ago, I had the opportunity to be part of a workshop and listen to this and what this library was doing. And I was very interested in bringing this type of opportunity to us and with our Neighborhood Library Association. So we're very excited. Moving on to page 70, here's another new and exciting out-of-the-box thing that we're going to be doing, and that's the library hosting and being the catalyst for getting this started. But we've got a number of nonprofits in the area that we will call help, organizations. They're wanting to help in some capacity people in our community. So they also need volunteers. And we thought it would be beneficial to the library if we were the host building and the place for people to come on this day, which is going to be Saturday, April 27th, for anyone from the community to come to the library. Chuck Gatica is actually going to keynote, and he's going to launch the event. We're really excited. Community Financial paid for his honorarium to speak, and so he'll get everybody, excited and pumped up about what volunteerism is. But then there will be close to 40, we're allowing close to 40 organizations from who we've made connections with to have a table and share their opportunity. If they need volunteers and you're looking for a way to get involved in your community, whether you want to get involved at in a health way or maybe assist with older adults, those different organizations will be at the library that day and have a table, and you will have the opportunity to walk around and see what fits you. So it is a volunteer fair that we'll be hosting on that day. So we're very excited. First time we're trying this, and I'm excited just to have something new and different, that we're offering to the full community to come in and try. And then moving on page 71 is our information technology report from Barbara Kowski. A lot of great information that she's been working on there, and training that she's been providing, if you look on page 72. Couple things that were done through the facilities report with Keith Perfect. And then moving on to page 73 is the information services report by April Stevenson. I always like to point out on page 74, our Raising the Reader program, and as you can see right now, 275 children are actively participating right now and logging. And we have a number of logs received to date. 1,038 logs have come in just in this year. And number of books read this month was 2,400. This month, that would have been December. 2,400 books were read. I like to say that over and over again. I think that's amazing. Lots of great photos, as you can see, on pages 74 and 75 of some programs. And then on page 76 is Marianne Zermulin. She is the Support Services Department, and her report. One thing in yellow, I wanted to point out, one of the things I asked Marianne to do this year, knowing that we were moving to Carl, was to put together a test component so that after so many months of the staff, her staff specifically, working with Carl, that they be tested to make sure, their proficiency was well. And I'm happy to point out, and Marianne put it in yellow, which I appreciate, that all 24 of her 24 staff passed with 100% correct on their tests that they took. And it was things, to make sure that they know how to do a library card, that, the certain functions that they do every day at the support desk when they're working with a patron, and how to get into certain areas, how to pay a fine, things like that they would do on a daily basis. So I'm very proud of this. It's the first time we've done this type of testing, and I think sometimes staff get nervous when they hear that word test. But I think this is just a testament, though, to how well they do, how important it is for them, and how serious they take their job, and they do give their all. And I think that's just fantastic that this is 100% for all 24 of them. Moving on is your statistics. I'm not going to point out anything. We are at, our half year. The numbers are looking really good, and those numbers go through all the way to page 86, or 85, I'm sorry. And then on page 86 and 87 and 88 is the Novi Historical Commission minutes from their November 28th meeting. I can report to you, which I know you saw in your budget packet when we met on the 19th of January, that they did put forth a budget for $14,000. And as you can see so far to date, what their expenditures have been, which they're fairly low still. So they're doing very well. One of the biggest things they've been working on is the 50th anniversary with the city and pulling a lot of historical data. If you did get your calendar, the city calendar, a lot of that work was done
with committee, but some of that was from the Historical Commission specifically. So I think that's great, a great kudos to them also.
It's a nice calendar.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I love the facts. I love the look of it being vintage, and I thought that the committee, they did a wonderful job, and that was headed up by Cheryl Walsh and her communications team with the city, and wonderful job. So, and I know people are enjoying it. And then you have your library board calendar on page 89. I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
I just wanted to point out one thing. On page 71, we're talking about the Friends.
Yes.
And you can see there's a special needs technology station, and that was because of the Friends.
Yes,
So
it was.
I just wanted to bring out another wonderful thing, that the Friends have done for us, so.
I had a quick question. In terms of promoting for programming,
Yes.
I do know that we have an active social media presence, but it might be like half selfish, but also I think it's pretty common for people like me. Facebook has a tendency to show me what activities are going on in the community, and we have such amazing programming at the library that if we could build out the event schedule on Facebook as far in advance as possible, like this special event with Chuck Gatica for nonprofits, if that's not already on there, like as far as ahead as we can would be tremendous. Because I know that we have some very special speakers coming, especially in April, and I did register, Julie, I promise.
Yay,
I did
good.
register for it. But I want other people to know about it too, because I think it'll be a huge draw for some of these really awesome keynotes. And the more ahead we have it on Facebook, it'll be better for us for attendance.
Great point. I'll be happy to share that with my communications and with David, who work on those
Thank
specifically.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I agree. I love when it's an event and you can say going or interested.
Interested, yeah.
Because then all my friends see that and then
Yeah.
they'll like or interested or,
Yeah.
and I mean, then and then it'll show up actually in my phone.
Yeah.
Because I have my
Yes.
Facebook
Yes.
calendar, so, I mean, it's a reminder.
Yep,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
a great thought.
I will work with them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Regarding the percentage of self-checks, I don't know that it's a concern or isn't, but I'm sort of surprised to see that, if anything, it seems to be going down. And I just wondered if you guys had any thoughts or anecdotal guesses or anything that, I guess I
don't.
just sort of
Yeah.
assumed it would maybe
Right.
improve.
I know. I thought it would, it usually stays around the 50 mark, but it has, you are correct, it has dropped. They have been working, so they're not out of commission at all. I don't know if people just want to talk to our staff and go up and see someone in person. But, yeah, nothing's changed in terms of the usage of them or to make them more difficult or anything. It's just, I know, I noticed the same thing.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? Anything Julie shared? Okay, we'll move on to item 13, committee reports. So, policy committee, there's a few things here. Let's see, so we have the revised policy manual that happened on June 22nd. There's a new policy being brought to the library, which is a drug-free workplace, and that's actually in our packet.
It is.
On page 66 and 67, it talks a little bit about that.
Yes, so this is actually a policy that the city has adopted. Typically, when it comes city and it fits the library, which this would, and it falls under, in terms of HR, I bring it directly to you, only under the language, that fits for the library. So I've read through this. The city has already approved theirs and has made this active. So I'm bringing it to you now in order to do the same. I see no concerns or issues with it. I agree with the language that was proposed that the city has adopted. And I would be looking for some direction from the board. If you're not comfortable approving it tonight, I understand that. However, it is pretty cut and dry, and we've already used the city as, they've already initiated it. I feel comfortable when they've done things like that, where I know it's coming from the HR department and it affects staffing specifically, that we could move forward with it as quickly as possible.
Sure.
That would be my thought.
So it sounds like Julie would like a vote tonight, but she definitely understands if we need more time. And
Correct.
when we get to matters for board action, we can talk about that. Okay?
So I know typically I bring a draft, we wait.
Yep.
But with this being specific and already vetted through the city, I feel very confident with it.
Okay, great. All right, so the other thing, if you guys can make an extra bullet point, just a note under policy, we are going to be doing some policy review soon. So if you're on the committee, you will be getting tapped soon, just to review our current policy.
It'll probably start in June. I'm going to wait until after.
No, this is different. This
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
That's okay, that's okay. So we actually need to do that like as soon as possible, to start having a meeting soon, to just review our policies.
Okay.
Yeah. And then B, under the HR committee, we'll let Bill speak.
I'm anxious to see what this is about.
So,
Oh, for HR.
The Staff Satisfaction and Strategic Planning Survey.
yep, so last month in your packet, there was the survey of the staff. We did the staff
I
survey.
did see that.
Right, so I'm going to be meeting and looking for a time for us, now that Tori's on and we have two, for us to meet. I'll be able to give you all the information that was gathered, and then we'll go from there. We'll kind of see
Okay.
what the committee wants to do from that perspective. Okay?
So we have input from all the employees
You
virtually?
do. Yep, and we used an independent person to meet with the staff and get feedback. It was a survey. I did not see those results. I have the report, and I'm going to set up a time for you to meet with her and myself, and we can go through that information.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then really quick, under HR, another bullet point, the HR committee will be pulled for a meeting as well soon. Okay. And then we can move on to C, if there's nothing else under that, for finance.
I'm not aware, I wasn't at the meeting, so have we heard back from the attorneys for
I
anything?
have reached out to her since that November 30th meeting, and I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay,
She-
all right.
Yep,
All right, so we're on pause for that.
We are.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect, thank you.
hopefully not for long, but,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to D, which is events, marketing, fundraising. Julie included the library board member bingo idea. I thought it would be fun just to have some community engagement around who we are as board members, kind of like Brady Bunch style, if you can picture the little squares. Maybe I'm going back to retro, I'm not sure. But fun facts about us as board members. And I'll be meeting with Julie about that and kind of having fun with it and figuring out what we can do. And then the other quick idea that we had when actually we had Tori's orientation, we mentioned like a potential board, books with the board, maybe for like the summer reading or something of that nature. So getting our story reading chops on potentially. But anyway, so those are a few fun non-stuffy things that might be good to do. We did have our, so we had our City of Novi early budget info session. I got the best seat in the house next to Julie, and we got to see the city council meeting with our colleagues that just went ahead of us. Ramesh and Doreen were there on our council, and so that's something that we were at as a part of the Events Marketing Fundraising Committee. And then I did get the pleasure and honor to, actually it was through the school district that actually hired me to speak on relational aggression for mental health. And we used the book Odd Girl Out. The library was an amazing support with offering copies and making sure that people that didn't buy the book could check out the book, which is kind of nice, right? So that was a good presentation. The Mental Health Dialogues Committee is something that our Assistant Superintendent, R.J. Weber, and Melissa.
Matson.
Thank you. I love her, and I don't know why my brain went blank. Probably because of the cough drop. But they've spearheaded this Mental Health Dialogues Committee, and it's just really great for our community and our schools and getting parents involved in their kids' mental health early. So it's not a problem necessarily that you're looking at, but you're being proactive. Okay? And then E, strategic planning.
I noticed the issue that's now under HR was under that at one time. Has that been reassigned to the HR committee?
It would be the staff satisfaction report and how it relates to the strategic plan in the future. Because you'll want to probably take some things from that and put it towards strategic plan. You won't be part of it, but is that what your question is? I'm sorry.
No, it looks like the second bullet there, if I'm thinking of the same information, the strategic planning data was received on January 11th.
That is the data that we've done for the last couple months. It's separate, totally different. Strategic
Oh,
planning is.
that's not the same as
No,
the
that's not the
strategic
same
planning
as-
survey?
Not the same as the staff satisfaction survey.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yep, nope.
Okay, and then item F, Building Landscape Committee.
There was a meeting that I wasn't able to attend, but we had a couple members attend with the school district regarding the library cafe partnership. It was a very positive meeting, and it's something that we'll be following up on. Julie, anything you want to add to that?
No, I thought it was great. I haven't heard from them since yet. Haven't had any updates.
And the second bullet point there, the LED project is almost completed. We've got a meeting scheduled for the end of January to hopefully be the wrap-up meeting.
Great.
So G is our bylaw committee, review of
That's
library board
completed.
bylaws. Okay. That's a good thing.
There is actually, though, a change to the bylaw, which is under the second bullet. And I have that in the packet tonight for board board. action.
Okay, awesome. What page is that on? We can probably look at that really soon, so.
Yep, when we go to matters for board action, is that when you want to do it?
That is when I want to do it. Do you have the page number? Just
Yes, so.
56 to 61.
56 to 61.
Thank you. I just want to be able to flip to it quickly when we're ready. Okay, thank you. Item 14, public comment. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 5-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session. Therefore, library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. No? Okay. Seeing no one come forward, we're going to move on to 15. And we just talked about that, right? Matters for board action. So A is approve the amendment to library. Oh, and the page numbers were there. Sorry, Julie. Okay, 56 through 61.
So what I'm bringing to you tonight is we did find that there was information that needed to be updated in the bylaw that referred to our student representatives. In fact, I thank Mr. Dujeneau for being, who brought it to our attention, because the question he had was, do our student reps represent Novi and other schools, which they can. The requirement is that they are a resident of Novi, and we didn't have that in the language. So that's what I'm bringing you tonight on page 57 is the only place that there is a change for language tonight. So it's adding in the schools in which they attend. That's not a problem. They can attend different schools, and they don't have to be schools in Novi, but the student representative, as you can see the last statement in that paragraph, the student representative must be, student representative must be a resident of Novi, Michigan. So let's make that that change. So student representative must be a resident of Novi, Michigan. That would be the only change tonight if you are wishing to approve.
Okay. All right.
If that's the only change, I'm comfortable approving or amending.
Any other discussion on that one? All right. Well, do we want to? You can go ahead. I was just going to say, do I hear a vote? But before I got there, you were ready.
A motion to approve with the change, as Julie stated, student representative must be a resident of Novi, Michigan.
I'll second.
Oh, we'll both second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Sounds like it's approved then.
Okay, on page 62 and 65, as you remember back in November, I brought you a memorandum of understanding with the Friends. This draft looks completely different, and that is because Trustee Messerneck and I had a meeting which had to do with our endowment and foundation, and the Friends, because they're a 501c3 of the library and a separate entity, Their group came up in discussion, and it was advised that we have the attorney look over the current memorandum. And so there was some legalese that was made to the memorandum. I have already sat down with President Sue Johnson and Vice President Carol Hoffman so that they could see the changes in advance. So it's been vetted by both groups. This would be the new language. I put it as draft 1 if you want more time to review it. Or if you want to approve tonight, that's completely up to you. But it has been looked at by both parties. The Friends agree with the language that was presented. Everything that was in the past memorandum is in here. It's just in a more formal way. And I don't know, Trustee Messerneck, if you want to add anything.
No, not really. I mean, that's how it came up. It appeared as if we needed to be a little more formal with a couple aspects of it. Is there anything that you should point out to us that is significantly different from before?
One of the things that they added was that if you look at on page 63 in E, it says at the library's sole discretion and if available, the library may provide the Friends with space in the library for book sales and storage for $1 a year. There had to be that understanding that we were allowing them the space, but for a nominal. And it didn't have to be anything big, but it's just so that it's stated that way for them to have that space, that they are actually, renting that space from us since they are a separate entity. So that's one thing that was definitely added that was different.
That's good. Any discussion on that? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
A motion to approve the operating agreement between the Novi Public Library and the Friends of the Novi Public Library.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks
And
for
it-
that. That was, I love that it's such more formal and really takes everything to another level.
It does, and it will because of, I think, where we're going with our direction with endowment foundation stuff as well.
That's great. Also, $1 rent is awesome
Yes,
and unheard of.
right. Exactly.
Our last item.
Yes,
is-
and this is page 66 and 67. This is the drug-free workplace policy. Like I said, this is direct language from the city's policy, just put in, referring specifically to the library, for the library employees and what would be followed when it comes to a drug-free workplace.
I do have oh, go ahead.
Sure.
I have a question. So this is a policy, like, part of our manual?
Yes, it would be part of our HR manual.
Okay, would this also pertain to volunteers, or would that be?
It does, because our volunteer
Does it
policy,
say
yes.
volunteers in here? Because I did kind of read through it, okay.
So what I'll need to do is the volunteer policy, I'll bring that back, but I wanted to put this in place first.
Okay.
I can't until.
I just wanted to make sure that
Nope.
volunteers.
It's a
will be covered
great
too.
question.
Perfect, okay,
Yes.
that's all I have, thank you.
Great question.
It might just be me, but it seems like that second sentence is a little clumsy. And the reason I say that, it says the employees of the Novi Public Library are unable and cannot work safely. I'm not unable to work safely, is that what that's trying to say? I'm not sure what they're unable to do.
I think it's saying they can't work safely or
And/or
productively.
if either they report
Yeah.
for work under the influence or drugs or alcohol. Yeah,
Is this exact language?
it is,
Okay, from the city?
per the city.
Like, okay.
Yes, verbatim except for Novi Public Library.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, Craig?
Well, I mean, we'll go with what the city did. I think it could have been worded better, but it is what it is.
Okay.
And I think the city was trying to point out that if they report to work under the influence, then the employee is unable and cannot work safely. I agree. But I see it, yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion on this?
In order to work as an employee, they do have to get tested
They do. All
beforehand.
of our employees at
Background
the
checks.
library, yes,
Okay.
go through a screening process before they're hired.
That's the only thing I wanted to double check, because I know in this day and age, like, some people do have a medical card, and as long as it's vetted out at the beginning of their tenure, then that would leave us safe as far as employment, I believe, unless they can't perform. Because I'm looking at the language, and I just want to make sure.
And we follow the city with requiring all of our, and the same medical process
Okay,
as the
perfect.
city for city employees, as library employees when they're hired.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep, great question.
Thank you.
All right. So do I hear a motion? Well, I'm gonna retract that for a second, because you guys are still looking at it. Do we feel like we need another month, or do we want to vote tonight? Let me be fair on that one for everyone.
I feel we can vote. This is verbatim. It's the city's.
Do you
It's already
make a
been
motion,
vetted.
Melissa?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to approve the drug-free workplace policy.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all aboard. So, you're welcome. So really quick, so typically what we do when we have a closed session, which we're about to, is we come back and adjourn. Tonight, we're not going to do that. We're going to adjourn first, and then we will go ahead and have our closed session. So it's more appropriate to do it that way tonight. Okay? And that was the request from Julie earlier. and-
Well, it wasn't a request, it's just that I know that there's nothing being decided with mid-year,
To
that there
come
would be
back.
So
no
do you wanna do
decisions
it this
made.
way?
So you might as well adjourn now and not have to then come back. That's.
I just,
Yeah.
I was taking your suggestions, so that's why
Right, I just want
wanted-
to make sure, when I had said that to you, that it's because there's no action being taken, that, it's just
There's
a
nothing
closed
we have to
session.
discuss
Right.
once we come back for.
Right, you wouldn't be
Perfect.
coming out of session with a decision of anything.
Do we need a
So
motion?
so it makes sense, obviously, right? I just wanted to.
Do we need a motion
It
to
was an
adjourn?
idea at
Motion to
first.
adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
Like, okay. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. It sounds like it's approved, and we will go into closed session now. Thank you.